Hello, everybody. PTG, Proxy Table Gaming. I am Hyper G with Lucky Sixes. Is
Yellow.
that a new hoodie? New hoodie? I've not seen
No,
that
it's
one
a
before.
it's a warm hoodie because it's very cold.
Oh, you still not put the heating on in December?
No, no, we've got. To be fair, I've still got my shorts on, but it's the top half of me was cold, so we hoodied up basically,
Hmm. Okay,
bro.
well, fair enough. Yep,
Let us know in
no,
the
that's all
comments
right.
how many of you are hoodieing up,
Or
bros,
still wearing shorts.
or still wearing shorts. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone would be. No one was at the event that I just went to. Tankers event,
Ah,
baby.
you were the only short man, were you?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so.
and you've literally just got back about 12 hours ago. Well, 24 hours ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was finished
No.
yesterday, and
Hmm.
yeah, this is from the tournament from the weekend. One of the most rapid turnarounds PTG has ever done, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, mainly because like in between Wales tournament and this one, we didn't really do a lot of ninth aging, did we?
We didn't know.
Which kind of sets up the tournament as well in some ways, because
It does. It does. In
practice
the
minimal, I would say.
literally zero prep. We had one battle, but it was a few iterations ago actually. Because now it is the fourth hotfix of the whole ninth age fiasco.
Mm.
I won't call it fiasco. That's a bit harsh. But
I
yeah,
was wondering about that.
yeah.
Whoa, okay, guys.
But
Yeah,
it
yeah. Feel
just
free
to
to give your
reiterate,
opinions. Don't
it
don't sit
has
on the fence or
changed.
anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, it has very much changed. Quite a lot. And this is the fourth time changes I've had. Not necessarily massive things, but little things. And they are as of the 26th of November.
Mm.
So I
Yeah,
don't know. This is burning out pretty quick. We're trying to put these up pretty quick, so I hope it's not out of date by the time it's come out. But we will see.
yeah. But they'd do well to release one like overnight now, just to make sure that BTG wasn't up to date.
Yeah. But yeah. So that is the thing. We had our first. I obviously took the vampires. I say obviously, but
Mm.
maybe not. From the last battle that we had,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
going into it. And I was against another vampire at the
Mm.
event, Matt Sewell. Um, so yeah, excited to see that vampire offs I've done in the past, and they tend to be either really exciting and quick, or
Uh-huh.
not so much. So just to prep you guys.
Okay.
Um, but here we go into my list. So yeah, the full iteration of the list going into the tournament. I've got a big. I'm going to move us off because I've remembered in the comments that I always block the list with us, our lovely faces. And while I think that's better than the list itself, not many others do. So we go on to the
Shocking.
vampire count general. He's obviously got disciplined and the Dead Arise, the spell. He's Lemire, so he's -1 to hit, and he gets lightning reflexes with elven reflexes, elven finesse. It's called. If he dons a great weapon, he's got Destiny's Call for a 4-up, 4-up in terms of save. He's got a great weapon with Kingslayer, so loving any characters in any units that there are there. It makes him go from 5 attacks at strength 7 to 6 attacks at strength 9. So he's very, very,
Ooh,
very, very killy.
it's a strong boy.
Eternal Duelist obviously gives him the reroll ones to hit into wound, so that's
So
pretty
good.
nice with that little combo. He's an adept on occultism, and those are his spells. And he's got the Knight's Crown to mean people are -1 to wound against him. So it's pretty good.
It's
He's
kind of his only defense, though, isn't it? I know he's got Destiny's Call, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Destiny's Call, the Knight's Crown, Lemire being -1 to hit. He is Res 5 to standard. He's pretty good. And
You
as
got to be
well as some of
something
the
pretty good to kill him, haven't you?
yeah. Yeah, there's
Before he
not
kills
much
you.
that can actually take him on, I don't think. But yeah. So yeah, he's there. I've got a Master Necromancer with Evo and the Necromantic Staff. Gives him
Hmm.
an extra channel. and an extra arise, which is very lovely, an aura arise. My Barra King BSB has the Stalker standards. I mean, I don't care about terrain in any way, shape, or form, and he's going to go in that big Barrow Guard unit. And he's also got a great weapon and Hypnotic Pendant to give the whole unit parry. He doesn't have much in terms of save, but generally speaking, Elliot's told me not many people go after him. So there you go.
I see. Oh, you're going to
Um,
ruin Elliot's tactic now.
yeah, yeah. I've got in core two blocks of skeletons, one big spears, one smaller sword and board. The spears have the sheltering standards, so unless you're AP4, they always have a 6-up save, which is quite a nice little thing. 5 bat swarms and 8 dire wolves to round off the core. As we mentioned before, that big barrow guard unit with halberds standard with the auto take standard that goes with them, the +1 to hit. And I've got court that goes in the smaller unit of skellies, a shrieking horror, and a varklak. This, if anybody's looking at this going, I think I've seen something like this before, it's because I've completely ripped it off of Elliot and added my own shine in the shrieking horror, which arguably makes the list worse. But I think it's a good addition, and I stick to my guns even after the tournament. So
I think you played me too many times where you know that there's always a unit that I take that a shrieking horror will decimate in a turn or two. And so you've got used to knowing how good it is because it's always good against me. And then,
no, maybe, yeah. But I mean,
but
even after
I'll
the
see how it goes in
tournament,
the tournament, yeah.
and this is retrospectively, I would still keep him in.
Okay,
So
you're good. Oh,
yeah, that's playing
there you
4
go.
other people other than you as well. So
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad.
yes,
I'm
yeah.
delighted that. Yeah.
The other vampire count has a vampire dragon, which is really very
Oh,
cool. So he's already outcooling me on the vampire
oh yeah. I was gonna
thing. It's
say, yeah.
Vitala, Stormcaller, which is against shooting, so not too great there. Vitala is the old von Karnstein, I think.
Oh,
The
okay.
name changed for that. So gives him a better. The only thing I remember, and you'll see why in a minute. But the only thing I remember of him was that it gives him a better vampiric.
Okay. Yeah. Fair
But
enough.
yeah, I'm sure. I think it gives you a few other things as well. But yeah, he's got halberd with touch of greatness, obsidian rock for a bit of magic resistance. He's an adept also on occultism and has gates of the netherworld, and so does
Oh.
his other courtier general as well, which is really cool to. Basically, that sort of gives you awakened skeletons.
Hmm.
I think no,
Okay.
I'm not sure it does actually. I think it gives something else
What?
because that's just in the
Well,
necromancer. That's why I took a
general.
necromancer. Anyway,
Okay, so then it won't.
so vampire count on a dragon, vampire courtier on a steed, along with the Barra King on the steed. They've got loads of stuff there. Take a pause and have a look at all the things. I don't remember quite everything, and I
Battle
just
Line
do it a
Heroes is
disjustice.
one from the seasons pack, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, so give them 18-inch range, which
Oh, yeah.
obviously with the vampires and marching is very, very good. One I considered, but just couldn't squeeze in. Actually,
Sure.
he's then got big unit of skeletons, small unit of skeletons, and the small unit of skeletons is the size of my big unit of skeletons. So that's
Yeah, I
how
was gonna
that's
say, yeah.
his blocks. All on
Tiny
board
unit of
for that
skeletons.
parry goodness. Yeah, obviously parry. Now you get just as a unit. Doesn't matter whether you're flanked, reared, or anything. So that's I guess why he's gone for big. Yeah, they just parry everything.
Holding the
Yeah.
shields wherever the danger is.
Super parrying skeletons. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you're being attacked in the flank and you've got a shield, you're not just going to hold your shield in front of you while someone stabs you in the waist, are you? You're
I
probably
guess
going to turn to face them, even if.
fluff
Yeah.
wise, I have no problem with it. It's a very good mechanic
Yeah.
though. It is a very good mechanic.
Yeah.
You got dire wolves to finish off core. Barragard sword and board as well, parry goodness. Baron knights with the lances that they come with. No special standards on them though, so I was like looking at that, going, okay, that's interesting. 2 lots of great bats for chaff and a shrieking horror to round it off as well.
Yeah.
I
Horror
think the
on
points
horror action.
Yeah, the 3982 is just a new recruit thing at the time. I think it was because it
Okay.
was quite close to the hot fix, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Um, there's some changes in that.
Fair enough.
We played hidden agendas, which means the primary objective is the secondary objectives,
Okay.
and refuse flank, which is the what?
Diagonal.
We both got settle the score as well, so we both got
Oh,
to choose a unit from our opponent's list. This was an interesting factor. He chose my dogs, which we'll see in a second, and I thought obviously his chaff would um, stop my big Beauregard unit just going up and just running. So I was considering using one of his chaff, but I decided to go on his big dragon because I thought, well, if I kill his dragon, it's not only the game, but it's the secondary objective as well. So that a big focus point for me. And also, I wanted him to sort of double think about using his dragon in any way, shape, or form, really effectively.
yeah. It does say, if possible, this must be the most expensive non-scoring unit. So could he have chosen your dogs?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Because I mean, I get the
Well, I
dragon is
chose right then.
absolutely going to be, yeah, the dragon is absolutely going to be his most expensive
Yeah.
non-scoring unit, but your dog's definitely not.
So for him, it should have been my Shrieking Horror.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically cancelled out your dogs.
Okay. Well,
Well, unless you just throw them away anyway, but yeah.
for whatever reason, we stopped reading after the first sentence. We
Yeah,
both
yeah, fair
played the
enough.
same rules and had the same availability to us. So,
And you just handicap yourself by choosing a really expensive unit anyway.
well,
Hmm.
I thought it handicapped him. Actually, it was an interesting. I thought that would handicap
Well, I suppose if you just
him a
hide your
little bit.
dogs all day, then you
Yeah,
can't get them.
but
But,
likewise, if he just hides his dragon all day, that's a real big threat that I don't have to think about.
well, it is. I
So
think that's
that's
probably why you're supposed to choose the most expensive one in
yeah.
in
So
theory.
well, and that's why I did
Mm.
for the wrong
Mm.
reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Oh,
a
there we
picture
go.
of my list of all my models and stuff. You might have probably seen most of it before, apart from the big Beauregard unit with the
Mm,
unit filler in. It's nothing other than a unit filler in this
looks
regard.
good.
But yeah, so I know people like looking at the armies and things, and that is them. So
Yeah, some good movement trays as well. Good old
yes,
movementtray.com.
movementtray.com providing all our movement tray magnetic goodness.
Mm, you're right.
Let's get magnetic.
That's not their
Oh,
phrase. That's
I
just
don't know.
something you've come up with, and it sounds
Time to
amazing.
magnetize.
Oh,
Anyway,
any
um,
more?
I don't. Metal is shiny.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Carry on. Come with the battle
Yeah,
cry.
that's what. Yeah. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get to the battle, and I dropped for first, as, as is
Of course. Of
as
course you
is
do.
the thing. I wanted to basically get first turn so that he wasn't sort of able to, because there was a bit of talk beforehand in that I got the impression that he he thought it was a bit of a hard matchup for him. And then I deployed, and I was like, right,
Okay.
okay, we'll just go. Let's just see what he does. And he deployed like this, quite not well, not on the line, ready for a
Yeah.
fight, which gave me the impression that yeah, that, and with his shrieking horror so far back as well, I was like, okay, this. I'm interested to
You're in
see how he
charge.
plays this in the thing. But yeah, I've got Shrieking Horror, Grave Beauregard with my General and BSB. Then the Necromancer in the smaller unit of skeletons with the Court of the Damned. Big unit skeletons, bats, and the Varkalak. He's got dogs, unit of dogs. Oh, that's potentially what Vitala gives you as well. The old one casting gives you awakened dogs because
Oh, okay.
of something that comes up later. Spoiler.
Sure.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah, then he's got dogs. He's got Shrieking Horror behind his zombie dragon. He's got 2 units of Great Bats in front of his Barrow Knights with his General and BSB in. A big unit of skeletons, a smaller unit of skeletons, and then right at the top there, the unit Beauregard. He originally put them in between the dogs and the dragon, and then just before I was about to go, he went, "Hang on, is that an impassable terrain?" And it was. So I let him redeploy somewhere else, and he was like, "Oh, I'll go there." I was like, "Fair play."
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that I also as well. I was right. Right, so that's a house. Even though everything is flat terrain, I assume the
Hmm.
house as his unit filler was a house on the board.
Yeah, well, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, oh right. So at least
Yeah.
he's got. No, that's his unit.
Well, both of your units are rocking some unit
Mm,
fillers. That's just
yeah.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think vampires do that very well, actually.
Yeah.
Generally.
There's some nice ones. I've got some extra ones as well that will use for
Mm.
raised things that you might see in a bit. This is a top-down thing after vanguards. So you see
Mhm.
my Varklat's come up and his dogs have come up as well.
Yep. Vaki's got a way to
Um,
go in this one.
yeah, so this is after my turn one movement, and I move up as much as I can. The big unit of skeletons don't quite get the chance to move up fully because I need to move my spats into march range so that they can get up. So I kind of a bit stuck there really, and that doesn't help greatly, but it is what it is. My dogs are there just behind, just yipping
Mm.
away. Not
Yeah.
really intent on getting involved in the battle, but just want to get to a
No.
point where. Um,
There is something about this picture that really worries me, though, and I'm going to need an immediate update to the end of the tournament because it worries me a lot. You took your best pen.
I took my
Did
best
it
man.
come home safe?
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh, oh, thank gosh. Oh,
Do
okay,
not worry
great.
on
We
that
can
front, my
carry on
friend.
now.
I
That,
did.
that, that, that pen means everything to you.
I attempted to lend it out 3 times over the course of the weekend,
No way.
and I was declined twice, and once it came back as well. So it was all good. It was well travelled. That
Oh,
pen.
phew. Oh, that was risky. Yeah. Okay,
But yeah,
carry on.
I essentially move up. My Barragard just March 8. There's nothing that they want to do
Yeah.
other than that. And my Shrieking Horror moves up close in order to protect the flank from the dogs. I kind of get the impression as well in moving up that way, and he's put his dogs next to my Shrieking Horror that he thinks that's something can happen there. I'm very
Mm.
intrigued because he's only strength 4 if he charges, and he's still that
Yeah.
means still wounding me on sixes. It's
Mm.
a lot of we'll pause that thought, but I'm intrigued
Yeah.
by that whole thing.
Okay. Hmm.
I get a cheekier rise off in my first magic phase, and that's about it, which leads us on to his turn one movement, and not a lot moves apart from the dogs and one unit of bats to chaff my Beauregard so that if they charge, they go towards the top right. Otherwise,
Okay.
he stayed pretty much the same. Just his blocks face my Markalax, so I can't get around the flank.
Yeah. All right.
He then arises his dogs to be a
Right.
unit of 15. He can do that pretty easily. They're D6 plus 4, I think. So you start off at 8 and you can get to 15 quite easily. So now you're
Mm.
looking at it going, okay, well, there's potentially this way, well, there's 6 in the front, 6 in the back. They've now got 2 attacks each. They're strength 4 on the charge. So it is 24 strength 4 attacks with AP
Yeah.
1. Might be AP2 on the charge actually. So you're
Okay.
like, okay, it's something to think about for sure. But I'm
Yeah.
still in my head going, how is that gonna defeat the Shrieking Horror?
He's
I
got some cool
obviously,
models, Matt
yeah,
has.
yeah,
I'm
really cool
liking his
model. I
models.
love that dragon, and
Mm.
go back, is he? Yeah, um, that dragon there is. Oh, this is actually going to move forward, but I've charged into the middle
Hmm.
to get rid of those
Yeah.
bats, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Why not?
that dragon comes like that as well. So it's a massive piece. So very impressive
Yeah.
on the transport front. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, onto my turn, and I just kind of I'm tentative with the Shrieking Horror. I don't want to go after him straight away. Um, so I just kind of turn to face that way, but I also turn to face my Necromancer that way to start pew pewing at it. Maybe get some points that way as well. As you can see, he's raised some dead in the middle of the board as well for the next lot of chaff. So there's that to think about. I move my Varkalak into the middle now, as there's no way I'm getting around the center, around the flank. Sorry, and to be honest, I don't think he could take them on his own.
No.
just because combat res and everything. So yeah, everything else kind of just shuffles up to catch up, apart from the dogs who have found a stick to play with at the back. I get another arise off. He lets this one go. I just pump up these units just in case something happens
Why not?
later on. I kill the bats and face back around. Over on to his turn two, and he moves up like this. It's not much movement apart from those zombies in the middle again, giving me a flank. If I do decide to charge in, so that I don't run straight at him. Dogs move up cautiously, but again, for me, it was a bit weird why they moved up like that at all. Really, trying to bait my
Well, I think
shrieking
it
horror, I
might.
guess.
Yeah, exactly that. If you go for it, then they've done their job potentially.
Yeah.
So just because you're ignoring it, it was, you know, the issue there.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah. You get Touch the Reaper off to do one wound to my Varkalak. I let
that's
this one
right.
go so I can stop anything else silly. Mainly Ray's dead now. I'm not getting
Mm.
chaffed again and again and again. He gets an arise off to bump up this unit. Again with Vitala, you can get that. So gets them up to. That's only 8 wounds though, so I'm not too bothered by that. If
No.
I'm honest. I go in here, as you can see, just to get them off and move around like so. I've moved my Shrieking Horror up to within 8 inches of it, of the
See how
dogs,
many you can
and
take out.
my plan is to just go after them. Really get some points on the
Mm.
board. I've already got one unit of Great Bats. Let's do this. Just slowly plink away, really. I get a Soul Blight and a Touch of the Reaper off. I think
Oh,
one of them he failed to cast, I think. I'm not sure
okay.
exactly. And then Shrieking Horror goes and screams
Nice.
away to make him that unit 15 down to 3.
Mm.
And my plan is just to not let him arise.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even if he did get Anna Rise off, then probably the attrition is going your way if you did the same again.
Yeah. Um, I kill the zombies,
Yeah.
obviously. I think they were skeletons actually, but yeah. And this is his turn 3. Again,
Hmm.
content that the dogs won't now achieve what they wanted to achieve, if anything. And just chaff me again. Making
Yeah.
sure that I don't just move straight forward if I do charge.
Hmm.
Not a lot else goes on in his phase. I think he has a really bad magic phase, and I stop everything. And onto my turn 4, I choose not to charge in to the dogs with the idea that he's actually moved forward a little bit with those units at the top. So I
Hmm.
might have 1 or 2 rounds of combat if I just pump
Yeah.
forward that way.
Which one's
Leaving
his
my
Beauregard? It's not the one with the
right.
house, is it?
No, the Beauregard are the one on the right of those
With the
3
movement
blocks.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought
So
so.
kind of thinking, yeah, I'll do that. I leave in a long charge for the Beauregard into the skeletons and keeping the Varkalak there as a bit of support. Dogs come up because they've seen a squirrel. Um,
An
Otherwise,
undead
the
squirrel.
Shrieking Horror moves. Yeah, Shrieking Horror moves this way to um, be able to scream at the
Scream.
dogs. And I probably could have been a bit more aggressive down the left side, but he has a Shrieking Horror as well. And if he goes first in that little foray,
Yeah.
then
Your
that's
scream is
never a good
less.
thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I get an arise off and on my Vakulak and Hand of Glory on the spears, just in case he does want to come in. He says, "Yeah, you can have that because I was never going in." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough."
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
now you're not.
scream, yeah, the scream does the job on the dogs to mop them up. Meaning that I've got a unit bats and a unit dogs so far.
Oh,
I think that puts me into an 11-9 so far,
okay.
and we're both doing the maths as we go along.
Yeah.
I do a cheeky soul blight also at this Shrieking Horror, and I get 666,
Oh.
but it's 19,
Uh-oh.
so it's not quite the 4th one, so I don't lose the
Whew.
spell, and not a lot happens. And to be honest, miscasts are not a thing anymore that I'm really too
No.
bothered by.
No. I think that's a
Trip,
shame, to be honest. But
yeah, miscasts have really been dulled down. Even if
yeah.
you lose the spell,
Yeah. That was
it's a
like a
bit.
number 2 or 3 on the last miscast table, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Yeah. But for what it's worth, he stops it.
Mm,
Anyway. So knowing that the miscast will only do 4 wounds at strength 4, AP 4 to my skeletons.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I lose dice, but that's I think at the time it was my last dice anyway, so it really
Mm,
mattered not. Over to the next picture, and this is his turn 4. This last bit of chaff comes in to chaff me, which is fair enough.
hmm
And it looks like so. Just moves around. Dragon coming up a little bit, just poking his head to see what I'm going to do. Hand of Glory goes on this unit. I think it was to stop my Varkalat going in, but again, I was very similar. I was like, well, if I haven't got my Barrack Guard, I'm not really too fast, so you can have it. I then decide to try something, and I'm going to go in with both units here to get my skeletons
Okay.
slingshotted up and into the fray, as well as my Barrack Guard, and see what I can
Okay.
do there. However, it was a slight misjudgment in that, as you can see, the skeletons are actually a tangent because they have to
Okay.
maximize to my
Yeah.
Barrowguard, which means reforming is a bit of an issue now.
Mm,
And I'm not going to pursue him, so it's just a case of overrunning. So I kind of at this point go, maybe that was a bit silly, but I can still slingshot my big unit of skeletons that have been
yeah. And there's so
into.
much HP in that unit, so.
Yeah, and just to try and force something of the game and sort of make
Mhm.
Matt's done really well so far to sort of like make it a bit of a non-game in his regard.
Yeah.
So my Varkalat goes to the top as well, finds a bit of a gap to hopefully help out if needed.
Yeah.
And that is the rest of my movement. My Shrieking Aura comes up as much as he can on that side, basically willing the other Shrieking Aura to come towards me as well.
Mm.
Yep.
Is there a bit of a danger that the Shrieking Horror and his Knight unit doesn't just run behind your Barrow Guard now?
Yeah,
Oh,
so kind of, but obviously I've got a turn to reform. So depending on where I
yeah.
go, is where
hmm
depending on what he does.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
I am fully trying to target the Shrieking Horror, and I get Soul Blight off. He tries to stop Soul Blight and fails, and I get Touch of the Reaper off as well. Both do 3 wounds, and he's got 7
Oh.
wounds total. And I was so gutted.
Oh.
I was so gutted because obviously, if anyone
Yeah.
knows more than me, that's the whole point. Is you got to kill them dead, otherwise they come back. So
Yeah.
my whole plan now is right. I've got 200 odd points for this guy. Just don't let arise. I should be okay.
hmm
Otherwise, I need one more thing after the Shrieking. If I'd have got a Shrieking Horror, that would have got me to 12 points.
Yeah.
This keeps me in the 11 bracket by about 25 points or something silly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I need one more thing somewhere to be able to get to that 12 really.
Mm.
I kill the unit, and in order to be able to basically reform with my Barrow Guard so that nothing silly happens, I overrun with the skeletons, needing an 8 or less basically to have everything in my front, and they go 11.
I
And
was gonna say,
just
yeah, they've gone for
skyrocket.
it.
They are desperate for a bit of combat, and I'm like, oh, okay. And now that gives a flank to the
Yeah.
Barragard, so maybe not such a good idea.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so that's an interesting thing. It's made a bit of play of the game. He goes
Yeah.
in with just his Barragard and his dragon.
Dragon.
Basically, if we go back to the last picture, the only way he could have got another unit in with that as well is if his dragon was on the left side, and he didn't want the
Mm.
dragon on the left side because then my Barragard could come in. This way, as you can see, when he does go in, he goes in so that my Barragard don't really have a charge.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a bit of a silly play, I think, from my point of view, in that yeah, they went
This is
too
his
far.
turn 5, right?
His turn 5, 3 more turns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'll
Mm.
get a few arises. Just keep the unit alive. I should still be all right for that 11-9,
Yeah.
and maybe something silly can happen with the Barragard, but I'm not sure. I am Swift. I'm AP3 against Swift, right?
Yeah. Yeah. on little skellies.
He does get Hand of Glory off, and -1 strength and AP on my Varklak for as well, which is annoying. I tried to stop that one, I think, and he got that one off. So that was a bit frustrating, but yeah, it meant it was all about this combat now. This was the wounds he did, which I didn't think was too many, but then you include
No,
combat res and everything, and this is the crumble.
in
I
one turn.
do a wound to the dragon, a single wound. So
Okay.
maybe
Yay.
there's something there, but we got some arises to do. On my turn, on my last turn, I basically the Shrieking Horror is not going to do anything. Keep him out of sight. Keep all my other stuff out of sight. Choose not to go in with the. I had a chance in the Barricade, for his Barricade, sorry, to put my Varkalak in the rear, and my guys in the my bats in the flank, and I thought
Yeah.
maybe that would be good for combat res, but I'm only actually offering like 4 combat res,
Mm.
and I was like, maybe that will just crumble my Varkalak.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you made the right call there.
So I decided
Yeah.
not to. This was like the very risk averse thing, and just to put into all my magic into these skeletons was the plan.
Hmm.
I get 2 arises and a Hand of Glory off
Oh, very
to
good.
regrow another 14 of them,
That's amazing.
and a 5-up save, which you would think is pretty good.
I do. That's exactly what
But
I think.
they
Eek!
absolutely go to town. This is after
Oh
crumble, to be
no.
fair. But I'm like, how did I lose that many? I can't. I
Yeah.
just crazy.
They were just
He
warming
ended up
up.
winning by like 17 or something, and I was like, what?
Oh no.
But
That
the
unit's
Hand of
not
Glory
long for the
wasn't.
table.
It didn't seem like I was doing that bad on the 5-up saves, but I wasn't doing great. And
Yeah.
yeah, then I was like, right, one more turn. Can they
Mm.
survive? The answer is no, because there was a long
No.
charge with him needing a
Oh.
5 to get into the flank. And apparently, well, he just got it. And
Yeah.
there's no amount of 5-up save that can stop this unit of skeletons
No.
dying. They die, and all my
Yeah.
good work throughout the game is pretty much
Yeah.
null void, and we have
No.
the end picture right there. One more turn, obviously, and I get all his unit. But
What?
really, the
Yeah.
play that I tried to make cost me a point, essentially.
Yeah.
And you'll be shocked and horrid to realise it was a 10-10. The VPs
Hmm.
were as they are, and yet, as is most vampire offs,
10-10.
10-10.
And no
Um,
score draw.
and no score draw.
Oh,
But I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I think it's the first time we've played that I can remember playing. So that was nice to play someone different.
yeah.
If that was in case the fact. And yeah, it was a really nice game. We had a really good chat. I think it was one of Matt's first games. He did really, all credit to him. He made it a non-game, and that's
Yeah.
what the list that I have sometimes struggles with, because I haven't got too much in the way of maneuverability.
They were very similar lists, weren't they? So,
Yes, yeah,
you know.
yeah. I do have, I do have a thought that my deployment was on the battle line. I was a
Yeah.
bit, well, it's refused
Far
flank.
to the
I was
right.
a bit far to his refused
Yeah.
flank,
Hmm.
to actually do anything. So I could have been a bit more central there. I could have. I obviously going.
You
in with
probably
the
did that because of
skeletons.
the impassable terrain, though. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
a lot of maneuverability around that left flank
No,
on
there
your
wasn't
left
a great
flank.
deal.
So,
And like the Shrieking Horror and Barragard were my protector against anything coming in my whole flank.
and his cavalry were very
So,
good at zoning at distance.
yeah.
So,
So
you know.
it was, yeah, it was a good game for it. It was really fun. As well, we had a nice, and it was a nice 10-10 to get us both started as well.
Exactly. Yeah, decent, solid foundation.
Yeah.
Cool. We will wrap this one up and head towards round 2 eagerly for the vampires. I don't. We haven't really mentioned it, but I didn't go to this tournament, so it's going straight into Lucky Sixes
Yes.
round two,
Yeah, round two
which
straight
is
away.
fine. Leading us into Christmas with a lot of vampires, so looking
Mm.
forward to that. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, give us some comments, give us your thoughts on whether it is indeed too cold to wear shorts. The answer is yes. And yeah, we will see you in round two, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Otherwise, see you later.
Get your kids on back, reaction with Proxy.